It's time. The review I'm pretty sure you've all been waiting for. Across the Spiderverse. I saw this last night. I know this review's kind of late, but not that any of you care, really. Man, what an experience this was. So, yeah, if obviously this is a review for Across the Spiderverse. So, the plot of this movie is after the events of the first movie, Miles is trying to live his everyday life still, but also trying to balance it out with his life as a vigilante as Spider-Man, and he goes through a bunch of different dimensions with Gwen Stacy as they form kind of a partner friendship with each other, and they one day find out that there's other Spider-Man incarnations across the multiverse, and they run into Spider-Man 2099, played by Oscar Isaac, who really is kind of aggressive. He's really aggressive and really doubtful about Miles, and they kind of a feud together, and they also go around trying to stop this villain named Spot, played by Jason Schwartzman, who's the supervillain who can create black hole portals, and he wants to be taken seriously as a villain, and they kind of an he's kind of a nuisance to Miles, and so all the Spider-Man incarnations form together as they go around the multiverse to band together and hopefully get Miles can balance out his life and not be too obvious, make it obvious to his parents that he's Spider-Man. This movie was so worth waiting for. This was my most anticipated movie of this year. Yeah, I know it's an animated superhero movie. I don't care if it's animated or live action. Before I should say I should probably say what I thought of the first Spider-Verse. I loved it. I know when I said I like in my review of the first Spider-Verse movie, at the time I really liked it, but every time I watched it, I liked it more and more. It's one of those movies where there's so much about it that you kind of miss the first instance, but when you really rewatch it, there's so much you like more, and yeah, maybe come to think of it, maybe it did deserve the Oscar over The Incredibles 2, which I love The Incredibles 2, but it was pretty refreshing seeing a non-Disney movie win an Oscar, so I I really respect the first Spider-Verse like even more so after so many times of watching it, and this movie here it was an experience for sure. Opening night, I got these collectible tickets when I went in. They're double sided, by the way, and yeah, here, yeah, you get Spider-Man 2099. He was really cool to see. Like I never thought we would have seen him in a Spider-Man movie. He's always a cool character. I of course do know him before because I've seen him in other Spider-Man media, especially Shattered Dimensions, which was a video game that was kind of like Spider-Verse. Um, Spider-Man India, who's an Indian version of Spider-Man, and he's actually played by Karen Sani, I think is his name, the guy who played Dopinder in the Deadpool movies, and he was a really nice addition. He didn't have a lot to do, um, but that's kind of one of the things that I think makes the first movie a little better is that I think the first movie fleshed out the characters a lot more. Like Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, Miles, Gwen, Peter, like everybody had an arc. Everybody had stuff to do. Here, I mean, I get it. They don't want to overstuff the movie. I get it. And they don't want to do the first one all over again. But most of the Spider-Man in this movie are kind of more just cameos. Really, other than Spider-Man 2099, probably none of the new characters really have that big of an arc. Like Scarlet Spider isn't even in this movie, and he's played by Andy Samberg, and he's a great character, but he's barely in it. Like he has maybe a few lines and doesn't really do anything. And there is this one cool scene where you saw in the trailer where they go to this one dimension and you see all the Spider-Man incarnations and they go after Miles because obviously because I said Spider-Man 2099 has a feud with Miles throughout this movie, and like you can see like a whole bunch of different Spider-Man versions, and like if you're a Spider-Man fan, this movie is gonna blow your mind. Like it's amazing. Like I when I saw this with my friend last night, I'm kind of worried I annoyed him by pointing out like, oh, there's that one, there's that one, there's that one, but like it's cool. Like it's a very visual experience. Like this isn't like most other animated movies where you could just watch it at home and like not the experience wouldn't really change. This is an animated movie that's worthy of the big screen. Like definitely you should definitely see if you're free this weekend, definitely see this on the big screen when you can cuz it's a mind-blowing experience. I mean, is it better than the first movie like I said? No, not. Yeah, I think the first is a little better, but I'm telling you this one movie is crazier. Like it's a much bigger experience and it's just flat out great and it does it without rehashing everything the first movie did. Like it doesn't explore the same themes or whatever, and it doesn't have the same story. They expand upon it and further the characters, and that's really what I'm glad they did. Like they didn't just want to copy the first movie success all over again. So I really like that they did that, and that really makes me want a third movie even more now. And it's just flat out amazing. And the animation, just like the first, it's amazing. Man, I know I've said before, like it's pretty annoying. Every animated movie nowadays is trying to copy Spider-Verse's animation style, which I mean, I guess that's what animated movies tend to do when they're successful. When one's successful, every animated movie afterwards tries to copy it. So that's just how the entertainment industry works. There's nothing you can do. But just like the first, it had that cool, like, 3D, like, look. It was 3D animated, but it kind of had choppier movements with that comic book dot filter on it. But even cooler, like, every character had a different animation style to it. Like Spider Punk, like you see him, he's supposed to be like a paper cutout. Like you see like the tape and such, and he's like a rough sketch. So that really makes it cool. Like, and every world has a different. Every world's very stylized and it looks different. Like this one is it's kind of like a bunch of like looks like a colored pencil sketch. Spider-Man India's universe and Gwen's universe. It's very like pop pink and purple. Like it's very interesting. Like it's a very visual experience, and it really shows off all the visuals it can, and it really makes the experience more interesting. Like I know the first one did kind of do that because Spider Ham was 2D and Penny Parker was anime style, but like it's like a cool way to see all these different characters blend in to show how different they are from one another, and it's really cool to see. And it's not style over substance because the story is still very good at expanding upon what was established in the first. And it's like Spider-Man 2, like how the story is about Miles trying to balance out his life and everything, whatever. But it didn't feel like I was just watching Spider-Man 2 all over again. It still felt like its own thing. Like, yeah, this movie was just incredible. Like, I really don't know what more I can say without spoilers. But it's an experience. You really gotta see it. It's definitely if you love the first movie, this movie's gonna blow your mind. Although, without saying anything, you don't need to stay through the end. Yeah, I actually stayed through the end last yesterday when I saw it, but there's nothing in the middle and there's nothing at the very end. Once the movie ends, you can go home. That's all I can say. So you don't need to stay for anything. So, but that kind of makes it more interesting because the fact that they don't really tease much really makes me more interested because what are they going to do in Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is the next movie, which I believe is coming out next year, which if it is next year, oh, I can't wait after seeing this. But yeah, well, I do think the first is a little better. This was still an amazing movie, and I'm really glad I got to see it, and I'm really glad I got better from COVID in time just to have a good experience, and it was a really fun time, and it's really worth checking out. Okay, for the trailers, I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Surprisingly, this wasn't the new trailer that came out like a couple days ago, which is weird. It's the first trailer that came out in March. Strange. But yeah, I'm still pretty excited for this movie. I know the animation style is trying to copy Spider-Verse, but I guess unlike some projects like The Bad Guys where it has no reason to look like Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a comic book movie, so it I guess it does kind of have an excuse, but it looks cool. I think it'll be a fun time and it's always great to see these characters in a project, so I'm looking forward to it. I got Trolls Band Together. I did like the first two Troll movies. I don't know if I'll see this one on the big screen, but oh, it looks like with the first two were just a colorful, fun time, and I'm pretty interested in seeing how this is because hopefully it's good. So yeah, I got Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, a new trailer. Thankfully, not one I keep seeing again and again, but it looks fun. Like it's really cool to see. A new Transformers movie, obviously, but the fact that they have like animal versions of like the Autobots. I mean, I don't know. Are they Autobots? I don't know. I don't know the Transformers lore, but it looks like it'll be fun. So I got The Flash, which is the newest trailer. It could be good, but if I do see it, I'm afraid to review because I know all the rabid DC fans are going to attack me if I don't like it. Because they're just saying, you just hate it because it's not Zack Snyder. You're a cult. Disliking a movie has nothing to do with liking a director. And plus, I'm really frustrated with how the DCEU changes its plans every week. Or DCU, I keep hearing it's going to be a new franchise, but then again, they say Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is leading into it, which makes absolutely no sense. So I don't know if I mean, I will see it because part of me kind of wants to see this because the DCU is pretty much kind of semi-confirmed to be ending. So maybe I should just watch all the stuff this year just to get it all over with and say I've seen every DCEU movie. So yeah, I'll see The Flash. I don't know if I'll review it because if I hate it, it's not going to be taken well by people. But oh well, I maybe it'll be good though. I don't mean to be too pessimistic, but who knows? Maybe I might like it. So I got Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken. This looks pretty good. It kind of reminds me of Luca or Splash or whatever, just a sea creature learning to who goes on the surface and becomes human, or even kind of like Little Mermaid in a way. So yeah, maybe this might not be the most original movie, but it looks fun and colorful, and it does. It looks very unique for a DreamWorks movie. Like the visual style and character designs look really different. So I'm pretty interested to see how this is. It might be a fun watch actually. And I got Gran Turismo, which I know is based on a video game, but I know nothing about the games. The movie itself, though, it could be fun. I don't know if I'll see it, but maybe I might. Maybe it'll be like a fun little popcorn flick. Maybe we'll see how it is. So, yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, I wasn't hyping over it for nothing. It was very good. I had a really fun time, and it was a very insane experience in a good way. And if if you want to see a movie this weekend, like I said, like this one should be the one to see, even if there's some you need to see and haven't caught up on. No, I think this one you need to see because it's a must watch when it comes to a theatrical experience. Not many animated movies really need that experience, but trust me, this one does, and I can't recommend it enough. And I definitely would rewatch it again. So yeah, Across the Spider-Verse was very good and just the experience I needed after weeks of suffering from COVID and feeling just awful. This is what I needed after all that. So, yeah, that's my praise of Across the Spider-Verse. So, I'll see you with whatever I got next. So, later.